McNair gives it to George, running right up the middle. Touchdown! Titans! There are no flags on the field! It's a miracle!
Safety, now you're one-on-one with it.
Shows why he's the man! In trouble. Sack!
Ladies and gentlemen, Titan Nation, welcome back to another episode of Titans Around the World. Today, I have my friend all the way on the bottom near Mexico. Just kidding. On the top, we have Michael from Alaska. How you doing, man?
Good. Pleasure to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. Obviously we were talking about that before, right? About people thinking that Alaska was like near Mexico, or they really didn't know the geographic location of Alaska. If you want to tell everyone, just in case the people don't know.
Yeah, we're not down by Mexico or Hawaii in the Pacific Ocean, just so you know. But I also go by Odell. That's what I like to go by. I like to have a single name, kind of like Cher.
Gotcha. All right. So my bad, Odell. There you go, Odell. Growing up, you were born and raised in Alaska, correct?
Correct. Born and raised Kodiak Island.
Nice. What got you into football? What got you into the Tennessee Titans?
Well, it's a long, convoluted story, but the short version of it is I remember my first football game, 1995 NFC Championship game, 49ers and Cowboys. I was in Mexico. That was the first memory that I have of watching football.
Okay.
And I remember going home 2 weeks later, watching the Super Bowl, thinking, oh, the 49ers scored 49 points in the Super Bowl. That's pretty cool. Next season was the first season where I actually got to watch football as a whole that I can remember. And I remember that was the year that they drafted Steve McNair the following year. He rode the bench, but they finished 7-9. But I watched a couple of their games on TV, and me being 6-year-old me watching football, I don't know why I got attracted to the Oilers. But then I just kept following them. I kept following them all the way up till they became the Tennessee Oilers, as we all know that history. And when I started playing football in 1999, I chose the number 27 because who was number 27 for the Titans at the time? Eddie George. He's who I wanted to play at. And then I watched the Super Bowl. I'm not going to mention how that went, as we all know, but it's been a long ride since then.
And you said you played a little bit of college football as well, right?
Yeah, I did. So I played 4 years of high school football in Kodiak, Alaska for the Kodiak Bears. Okay. And then I went to the University of Tennessee and walked on the football program for 2 years. My freshman year, I played for Coach Fulmer, who everybody in Tennessee, I believe, still adores. And then my sophomore year, got to play for Coach Kiffin, which was a wild ride. Let's just say that.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Whatever happened to that? You decided to kind of change routes, change careers, didn't want to go through that path. What happened?
Yeah, it was definitely a big life experience going down there and playing football with the big guys. I mean, I got to play with Arian Foster. I got to play with people like Eric Berry, and a lot of other pro football players like Ramon Foster. Yep. He probably doesn't even remember me. I was a freshman on the team when he was a senior. I mean, now he's a local radio host in Nashville, played for the Steelers for a long time, but that was my teammate a long time ago. But yeah, it was a very odd time when I decided to go play football at UT because they'd had Coach Fulmer for a long time. And then that went down the drain. The following year, got a new head coach, and that went up in flames, I'm sure, as most of all his fans remember. And I just said I had enough. And I decided to go back home to Alaska. So I had started missing it. Yep. And I didn't want any more drama because there was a lot more on the way.
Gotcha. So give us a daily routine of life in Alaska. Again, a lot of people don't have the slightest clue of what happens or whatever. I know I have a couple friends that worked in Alaska, the airlines and stuff. So they would permanent stay there for a little bit, a couple of years, and then leave. And one of my buddies, I mean, he said he loved it. He would go back, especially where you're from. He said he adored it. He wouldn't mind going back. So, what would be the daily life in Alaska, man?
Well, excluding work, because during the summer it takes up a lot of time. I mean,
Gotcha.
that's when I work in the summer. I work in road construction. I'm like the offensive lineman of Alaska. We pave the roads for the King Henrys to drive down.
Gotcha.
But Alaska is an outdoorsman's paradise. In the summer, I would not be anywhere else other than Alaska, because to me, 65, 70 degrees, sun, big mountains, everything's green. It's
Mm-hmm.
beautiful. You got the breeze off the ocean. Can't get any better than that. So for me, during the summer, if I wasn't working, I would probably be going down the road to a place like Hope, 2 hour drive where I've gone camping before, or
Mm-hmm.
going on a walk, going on a picnic, or if I go back to Kodiak to visit my family, go fishing.
Gotcha. Fishing's a big thing, huh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, big time. Everybody in Alaska has to fish at some point.
It's like mandatory. It's like almost like living in Canada. Like you have to learn how to skate, right? Like in Alaska, you have to learn how to fish. 'Cause fishing is
Oh,
a big thing, right?
I mean, you got to know how to ice skate up here too, and you also got to know how to either snowboard or ski at least a little bit.
And know how to drive in the snow, right?
Oh, it's an adventure,
Yeah.
because there's a big military base here in Anchorage. We get a lot of people from Texas
Mm-hmm.
who come up here and think that it's easy to drive in the winter because they got a
And
big four by
yeah,
four truck. It's
doesn't work.
not. I guarantee you, it is not as easy as it is down in
Yeah,
Texas.
absolutely not. Yeah, we had a couple. We had technically a little. It was a freeze like a couple years back, and people still went out thinking they could drive out, and there were accidents everywhere, and no one was obviously attending them because they told everyone to stay put, and so like they were just got stuck outside. It was terrible. It was, I mean, again, Texas is not used to that. We're not ready for that. Even though people, like you said, people think they know how to drive, but it doesn't work out like that, man. So,
Yeah, I mean, even when I was in Knoxville back in 2008, 9, I mean, there was a couple times we got traces of snow, and it was like people forgot how to drive. It
yeah,
blew my mind.
yeah, it's nuts. Talking about watching the games, where do you watch the games? Do you watch it at home? Do you go to like is there a bar local? What's your typical Sunday
Oh,
getting ready for the game, man?
there's actually quite a few sports bars up here, but unfortunately, there's none that Titans fans really frequent. I've been to a few of them to watch games. There was one time that I went to a pretty big establishment here called the Peanut Farm, and if anybody's been to Anchorage
Mhm.
watching this, you know where the Peanut Farm is. They were playing the Browns. It was the Johnny Manziel game back in, God, what was that, 2015 or 2016?
Mhm.
And that was one of the more depressing moments I've had up here, because I didn't know that they had a secluded section of the bar just for Browns fans. I didn't realize that all the people
Oh
from Cleveland moved
no.
to Anchorage, and there were about 50 of them and one of me, and it was not enjoyable. But I mainly watch the games at home because of that. I created my Twitter account for Alaska Titans to try to get more
Mhm.
people who are in Alaska who actually cheer for the Titans to realize that there's not just one of them.
Yeah.
There's more. We're out there. We're out there.
Well, keep pushing on, man. Hopefully, like I said, through this, we'll get more people to notice and to know that there's Alaskan fans and there's Titan fans that are in Alaska, and hopefully, if you guys haven't followed them, please follow them. It'll be a good, like, again, this is kind of like something I always wanted to kind of do, just because everyone always sticks to like local, right, local fans, and they only talk to local fans, but that's why we have Twitter, to talk to everyone, people that I wouldn't be able to talk to. So I'm glad that I found you and seem like a cool guy, and if I'm ever in Alaska, guess what, man, I'll be at the bar with you. We might be the only Titan fans, but we'll give the Browns we'll give them a Deshaun Watson jersey or something.
Oh man, yeah. if he ever plays. Yeah, think I think a good goal. I think a good goal to have up here is to get enough Titans fans where we can actually go to a bar and have a good time, not be bullied by Browns fans, Cowboys fans, or God forbid Colts fans.
Yeah, definitely. So around that area, where do you see the most fans? Is it usually well, you're up there, so you see a lot of Seattle fans? Do you see like
Oh,
I'm about to say,
oh yeah,
yeah,
I could definitely tell you there are four definitive teams up here.
mhm,
Number one, obvious due to geographic location, is the
yeah,
Seattle Seahawks.
yeah.
They're everywhere. You hear news all over the radio and TV, social media. They even come up here and do events with the colleges and high schools and
Oh,
stuff. That's
really?
great.
Wow.
I'm not a big fan of the Seahawks because when they got good back in the early 2000s, it's Russell Wilson. The whole 12th man thing blew
Mhm.
up, and whew, man, it was a little aggravating. But so you have number one is the Seahawks. Number two is the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Oh, wow. I was gonna
Mainly
go with Green
because
Bay.
there's a really big Polynesian presence in Alaska, and I think it started with Troy Polamalu.
Okay, gotcha.
And then third is Green Bay, and
Okay.
then fourth is the Patriots, and then after that it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, it's wow. Okay, so I had I was yeah I was kind of I was thinking about I was like, man, there's okay, so you had obviously I thought like the Seahawks. How far are you from Seattle?
Oh man, I think we're about God, I want to say about 1,500 miles, maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
1,600 miles, something like that. So
Okay.
it's a solid 3,500 miles to Nashville from here.
Gotcha. When's the last time you went to Nashville to watch the Titans game?
Oh man, it's been a while.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, I've told a bunch of people this, but man, I had my finger on the trigger to buy plane tickets to go down for the AFC Championship game last year. We all know how that
We
turned
all
out,
did.
but
We all
it
did,
was
man.
yeah. The last time that I was in Nashville for a game was the Vince Young against the Cardinals game, the 99-yard drive with 2 minutes left. That was the last game I went to.
Okay. Well, it's
So
not a
that was
bad game.
2009. And being in Tennessee for the 2008 season was also pretty cool.
Okay, man. All right, like I said, man, I appreciate you coming on, talking about yourself, talking about your fandom again. We appreciate it. Hopefully, we'll run into each other sometime in the future, man, and we'll definitely hang out. And maybe if I go to Alaska again, you can tell me the do's and don'ts. I need to learn how to fish. I'm not the greatest. I don't have patience for fishing, but we'll see what happens with that. But again, thank you so much, Odell, for everything, man. I appreciate you, man.
Yeah, no problem, no problem. Appreciate you having me on. I'd just like to say that all the Titans fans that were at the Seahawks game last year, because
Mhm.
there were many of us, but we were spread out, but they made us all proud when we were there.
There you go. They just got to coordinate better. They got to get one person to kind of be like, okay,
Yeah,
this is the section we have to go at. It looks better if we're in a group than spread out, but I get you. Yeah, sounds like a plan.
yeah,
All right.
yep,
All right, man. Well, have a good one and tighten up. All right.
yep. Thank you. Tighten up.